तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स नमो तस्स भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्स. So today we will read this sutta from Sutta Nipata, 10th sutta from the first Uragavagga, Alavaka Sutta. The translation is by Bhikkhu Sujato. How the sutta goes? See. Ekan samayam bhagava आळवीयम विहति आळवकस्य यक्षस्य भवने. Ekan samayam means one time. Bhagava means the Buddha. Alaviyam, in the village Alavi, he was viharati, dwelling near. Alavakasya yakhasya bhavane, he was staying in the house of a yakha whose name was Alavaka. At one time, the Buddha was staying near Alavi in the haunt of the native spirit Alavaka. Athakho Alavako yakho ena bhagava tena upasankamitva bhagavantam etad ocha. Athakho, then really, Alavako yakho, the yakha Alavaka, ena bhagava tena upasankami, he approached the Buddha. Upasankamitva, having come near Bhagavantam etada ocha, and he said to the Lord like this: Get out, ascetic, nikhama samanati. Get out. Nikhama means get out. Ascetic means samana. Sadha usoti bhagavan nikhami. Sadha uso means okay, all right. That's what the Lord said. And Lord came out. Saying all right, sir, the Buddha went out. Then what happens next? Pavisa samanati, get in ascetic. He says, come in. The yakha first tells the Buddha to go out, then he again tells him to come in. Saying, all right, sir, the Buddha went in. Sadha visoto, visoti, sadha visoti, bhagava pavisi. For a second time this happens. Dutiyam pokho. So next time, second time also he says, nikhama samanati, get out ascetic. And sadha usoti bhagava nikhapi. And Buddha says, all right, sir, and goes out. Then again he says, Pavisa Samanati, get in ascetic. And Buddha again says, all right, sir, and Buddha comes in. Again, third time. Tatiyampi ko alavako yakho bhagavantam etadavocha. And for a third time, the native spirit, Alavaka, said to the Buddha, get out ascetic, nikham samanati, saying, all right, sir, the Buddha went out. Sadha visoti, sadha visoti bhagava nikhami. Get in ascetic, pavisa samanati. He says again come in. Saying all right, sir, the Buddha went in. Sadha visoti, bhagava pavisi. So Buddha, if you see the life of the Buddha, he always for three times he will say no or he will agree to somebody. And at the fourth time, he will react differently. Many times you see Ananda will request three times to Buddha to do a particular thing. Three times Buddha will say no, and at fourth time he will agree. We hear three times he is listening to Alavaka, and at the fourth time, what does he do? See. Chatuthampi kho Alavako yakho bhagavantam etadavocha. And for a fourth time, the native spirit Alavaka said to the Buddha, get out ascetic, nikhama samanati. Now the Buddha's reaction to him changes. Na khvaham tam avuso nikhamisami. No, sir, I won't get out. Yante karaniyam tam karohiti. Do what you want. That's what Buddha says to the Alavaka Yakha. Then the Alavaka Yakha says, Panaham tam samana puchisami. I will ask you a question, ascetic. Sache me na vyakarissasi. If you don't answer me, chittamavate khippisami, hadayamavate folissami, pade suvagahetva paragangaya khippisami. Chittamavate khippisami, I will make you mad. Hadavayam vate phalisami, I will tear out your heart. Pade suvagahetva, I will you grab you by your feet. Paragangaya khipisami, and I will throw you away beyond the Ganga river, Ganges river. That's what the Alavaka Bhikkhu, Alavaka Yakha says to the Buddha. Then the Buddha says to him, Na khvaham tam Auso passami sa devake loke sa marake sa brahmake sa samana brahmaniya pajaya sa deva manusaya yo me chittamava khipeya hadayamava phaleya pade suva gahetva paragangaya khipeya na khvaham tam auso passami. My dear friend, I don't see anybody. Sa devake with devas, loke in this world, Samarake, in this world with Devas and Maharaj, Sabrahmake, in this world with Devas, Mara and Brahmas, Sassamana Brahmaniya, and the Samanas and Brahmanas, Pajaya, and with the population, Sadeva Manusaya, with many Devas and human beings, Yome Chittamava Khipeya, somebody who can make me mad. Hadayam va phaleya, somebody who can tear my heart. Pade subagahita, gahetva, somebody who can grab my feet. Paragangaya khippe, and who can throw me away beyond the Ganga river. Nobody I can see in this world. That's what Buddha says. Apichatvam avuso puchayada kankhasiti, but anyway, ask what you wish. Atakho alvako yakho bhagavantam gathaya ajabhasi. So really, the Alavaka Yakha then said to the Lord like this in poetry, in stanzas, in verse. Kim sudhavittam purisassa settham. What is a person's best wealth? Settham is the highest. Purisassa means a person's. Vittam means wealth. Kim sudha, which is. Kim su suchinnam sukham avahati. What brings happiness when practiced well? Kim su have sadhutaram rasanam. What is the sweetest taste of all? The one they say has the best life. Katham jivim jivatam ahus settham. The one they say has the best life. How do they live? Then the Buddha answers, Saddhida vittam purisassa settham. Faith here is a person's best wealth. Saddha, faith, the trust in Dhamma is the person's best wealth. Dhammo suchinno sukham avahati. The teaching brings happiness when the practiced well. Dhamma, the Buddha's Dhamma, it brings happiness when practiced well. Satcham have sadhu taram rasanam. Truth is the sweetest taste of all. Panya jivim jivatam ahu settham. The one they say has the best life lives by wisdom. So wisdom is the way to live. Then the Alavaka asks the Buddha, Katham su tarati ogham. How do you cross the flood? Katham su tarati annavam. How do you cross the deluge? Katham su dukkham acheti. How do you get over suffering? Katham su parisujjati. How do you get purified? Then the Lord says, Buddha says, by faith you cross the flood. Saddhaya tarati ogham. And by diligence the deluge. Appamadena annavam. Viriyena dukkham acheti. By energy you get past suffering. Panyaya parisujjati. And you are purified by wisdom. Then the Alavaka Yakha asks the Buddha, how do you get wisdom? Kathansu labhate panyam. How do you earn wealth? Kathansu vindate dhanam. How do you get a good reputation? Kathan su kittim pappoti. Kitti is reputation, good reputation. How do you hold on to friends? Katham vittani ganthati. How to collect friends? Then Buddha says, there are two more questions. Asma loka param lokam katham pechana so. One more question. Asma loka param lokam katham pechana sochati. How do the departed not grieve when passing from this world to the next? Then the Buddha teaches him Saddhano arhatam dhammam nibbanapatiya. One who is diligent and discerning gains wisdom by wanting to learn, having faith in the perfected ones. Sususam labhate panyam. Saddhano arhantam. Arhantam are liberated person. By keeping faith in them, saddhano. Saddhano means keeping faith in. Arahatam means with the liberated ones. Dhammam nibbanapattiya. And wanting to learn, somebody who has realized nibbana from them, if you listen to them diligently and discerning, sususam labhate pannam, you get wisdom by listening to the perfected people. Appamatto vichakhano, and the teaching for becoming extinguished. And you have to be diligent in being responsible, acting appropriately, and working hard. You earn wealth. Uttata vidante dhanam. Sachena kittim pappoti. How do you get the reputation? Truthfulness wins you a good reputation. Sachena is the truth. Kittim means reputation. Pappoti means you get it. आपको प्राप्त होता है. You hold on to friends by giving. Dadam mittani ganthati. How do you collect the friends? By giving. A faithful householder who has these four qualities does not grieve after passing away. Yasseto chaturodhamma. These four qualities. Saddhassa gharam esino. Faith. Satcham dhammo dhiti chago. So which are the four qualities? Satcham. That means truth. Dhammo. Principle. Dhiti. Steadfastness. Chago. Generosity. Satcham dhammo dhiti chago. Survey pechana sochati. A faithful householder who has these four qualities does not grieve after passing away. Which are the four qualities? First quality is truth, Satcham. Second quality is Dhammo, the Dhamma principles. Third quality is Dhiti, steadfastness. And fourth quality is Chago, generosity. Save pechana sochati. So he does not grieve when he leaves the world. Go ahead, ask others as well. Ing annepi puchasu. Puthu samana brahmane. You can ask others ascetics and Brahmins also. Yadi sacha damachaga khantya bhi yodha vichati. See whether anything better is found than truth, self-control, generosity, and patience. Katham nudani puchayam. Now the Alavaka asks again, Puthu samana brahmane yoham ajjapajanami. Why now would I question the many ascetics and Brahmins? He says, I have asked you, then why will I ask others? Today understood, understand, yoham ajjapajanami. Yo attho samparayiko. What is good for the next life? Atthaya vatame buddho. It was truly for my benefit that the Buddha came to stay at Vasayal Vimagama. Atthaya vatame buddho Vasayal Vimagama. It was truly for my benefit that the Buddha came to stay at Alvi. Vasaya Alvi Agama. Atthaya vatame. Atthaya means for my good. May means for my good. Athaya vatame buddho. Buddha came for my good. Vasaya, to stay. Alavim, in Alavi gram. Agama, and he came to Alavi to stay. It was for my benefit. That's what the Alavaka says. Yoham ajjapajanami. Today I understand. Yattha dinnam mahaphalam. Where a gift is very fruitful. So aham vicharisami. I myself will journey. Gama Gamam Pura Puram, from village to village and from town to town. Gama is village, Pura is town. Gama Gamam Pura Puram. Dhammassamano Sambuddham, paying homage to the Buddha, and Dhammassacha Sudham Vatanti, and the natural excellence of the teaching. So the Alavaka says that he will wander around the country from village to village and from town to town, and he will spread the word about Dhamma and the Buddha. He will pay homage to the Buddha. Alavaka Sutta Dasamam. Thus, the Alavaka Sutta is over here. So it's a short sutta, and it is about a yakha called Alavaka, who was staying in the Alavi Gram. So we'll just see if there is anything special about this sutta in the commentary. This commentary is written, translated by Bhikkhu Bodhi. What is the origin? Its origin will become clear through a commentary on the meaning. In the commentary on the meaning of the phrase, thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One has already been explained, was dwelling at Alvi, in the abode of the Yakha Alavaka. Here, what is Alvi and why was the Blessed One dwelling at the abode of that Yakha? As to this, it is said that country and city are called Alvi. Either might be referred to here, for it is said that he was dwelling in Alavi near the city of Alavi. That abode was not far from the city, about a gauth away. It is also said that he dwelt in Alavi while dwelling in the country of the Alavi, for this abode was in the country of Alavi. Every seventh day, the king of Alavi would leave off the enjoyment of various dances, and for the purpose of expelling bandits, repelling hostile kings, and getting exercise, he would go on a deer hunt. One day he made a pact with his troops. The one on whose side a deer flees is responsible for it. Deer then fled on his own side. The fleet-footed king took a bow and pursued the deer on foot for 3 yojanas. Now, enemiga are fast for only 3 yojanas. So when the deer grew fatigued, it entered the water, and as it stood there, the king shot it and split it into two. Though he had no need for the meat, in order to avoid the criticism that he was unable to catch the deer, he took it on a pole and set out to return. Not far from the city, he saw a large banyan tree with the dense foliage, which he approached in order to dispel his fatigue. Now the Yakha Alavaka had obtained a boon from the great king near the banyan tree, and at noon he dwelt there eating the living beings that entered the area covered by the tree's shade. When the Yakha saw the king, he approached to eat him. But the king made a pact with him. Release me, and every day I will send you a human being and a ceremonial dish of food. The Yakha answered, when you are heedlessly indulging in your royal enjoyment, you will forget. But I am not allowed to eat anyone who has not entered my abode or who has not given consent. So if I were to release you, how would I live? Thus he did not release the king. Then king promised, on the day I do not send you anything, you can take me and eat me. In this way, he was set free and headed back toward the city. Meanwhile, the troops had set up camp along the road. When they saw the king, they went forth to meet him, took his things, and said to him, great king, why did you exhaust yourself merely to avoid losing face? The king did not report the news to them, but went back to the city. After his breakfast, he called for the city magistrate and informed him of the matter. The magistrate asked, did you limit the time, Lord? I didn't. You made a mistake. The magistrate said, Lord, for with evil spirits it is possible to limit the time. If there is no time limit, the country will face a calamity. But let it be, Lord, even though you did so, be at ease and enjoy the bliss of rulership. I will take care of the matter. The magistrate got up early, went to the prison, and said to those due to be executed, whoever wants to live must live. He led the one who emerged first to his home, had him bathed and fed, and then sent him off with the instruction, take this dish or food as an offering to the Yakha. As soon as the man entered the area near the foot of the tree, the Yakha ate him as if he were a radish. It is said that an account of the Yakha's spiritual might, the entire body of a human being from the head hairs down becomes like a lump of butter. When the men who had brought him to deliver the Yakha's meal saw this, they were terrified and reported the matter to their friends. From then on, people refrained from committing crimes, aware that when the king arrests criminals, he gives them to the Yakha. Shortly thereafter, because no new criminals appeared and the old ones were gone, the prisons were empty. The magistrate reported this to the king. The king then had his own wealth cast along the avenues, thinking perhaps someone may take this out of greed. But no one would even touch it with their foot. Since he did not obtain any criminals, he informed his ministers. The ministers said, let us send one old person from each family in turn. An old person is already close to death. But the king prohibited them, saying, the people will resent us, thinking he sent our father, our grandfather. Don't set your mind on this. In that case, Lord, let us send an infant, for they don't feel affection for such a child as they do for their mother or father. The king consented, and they did so. The mothers in the city took their children and fled. Pregnant women also fled. They brought their children to other countries and nurtured them there. In this way, 12 years passed. Then one day, though the men searched the entire city, they could not find even a single child. They informed the king, Lord, there is no child in the city except your son, the Alavaka prince in the palace. The king said, as my son is dear to me, so it is for all the world. But there is no one dearer than oneself. Go, give him too, but protect my life. At the time, the princess mother had finished having her son bathed and dressed. She prepared a soft pillow and put the boy to sleep on her lap. The king's men went there on the king's command, and while the nurse was chatting with the 16,000 consorts, they took the boy and left, saying, tomorrow he will be the Yakha's meal. That day, just before dawn, the blessed one rose and entered the meditative attainment of great compassion in the great fragrant cottage in the great monastery in Jetha's grove. He again surveyed the world with the Buddha eye and saw that the prince of Arbi had the supporting condition for attaining the fruit of a non-returner. The Yakha, the supporting condition for stream entry. The 84,000 living beings, the supporting condition for obtaining the Dhamma I at the conclusion of the teaching. When it became light, the blessed one did his forenoon activities, and with the afternoon activities still unfinished, just as the sun set that day, on the Uposatha of the dark fortnight, he took his bowel and robe and alone without a companion walked along the footpath, 30 yojnas from the Savatthi. He then entered the abode of that Ekha. Hence it is said, in the abode of the Ekha, Alavaka. But did the blessed one dwell at the foot of the banyan tree where Alavaka's abode was located, or in the abode itself? It is said, in the abode itself. For just as Ekhas pursue their own abode, so too do the Buddhas. Having gone there, He stood at the entrance to the abode. At the time, Alavaka had gone to the Himalayas to attend a gathering of Yakhas. Alavaka's doorkeeper, named Gadrabha, approached the blessed one, paid homage to him, and asked, Bhante, has the blessed one come at an improper time? Yes, Gadrabha, I have come. If it would not be burdensome for you, I would spend one night at Alavaka's abode. It will not be burdensome for me, Bhante, but that Yakka is rough and harsh. He does not even pay homage to his mother and father. Do not think about staying here. Then the Buddha says, I know his rough character, Gadrabha, but that won't be an obstacle for me. If it would not be burdensome for you, I would spend one night here. A second time, the Yakka Gadrabha said to the blessed one, Bhante, Alavaka is like a hot frying pan. He does not have regard for his mother and father, for ascetics and Brahmins, or for the Dhamma. When others come here, he drives them insane, or splits their heart, or grabs them by the feet and hurls them across the ocean or across the world sphere. A second time, the blessed one said, I know Gadrabha, but if it would not be burdensome for you, I would spend one night here. It will not be burdensome for me, Bante. But if I allow you without informing him that Yakka may take my life, let me inform him, Bante. Inform him as you please, Gadrabha. In that case, Bante, find out for yourself. Gadrabha then paid homage to the blessed one and left for the Himalayas. The door to the abode opened for the blessed one. The blessed one entered and sat down on the couch of celestial gems, where Aravaka sat on auspicious days, enjoying his splendor. The blessed one then released a golden light. The Yakka's women, having seen it, drew near, paid homage to the blessed one, and sat surrounding him. The blessed one gave them a mysterious Dhamma talk. In the past, you gave alms, undertook precepts, and made offerings, and thus you have achieved this fortune. Now you should do the same. Do not be overcome by envy or miserliness toward one another. Having heard the blessed one's sweet voice, they applauded him 1,000 times and continued to sit there surrounding him. Meanwhile, Gadraba had gone to the Himalayas and informed Alavaka, You should know, dear sir, that the blessed one is sitting in your mansion. He gave a signal to Gadraba, Be quiet, I will go and do whatever is necessary. It is said that his masculine pride caused him to feel ashamed, and he therefore checked Gadraba, telling him, Don't let anyone in the assembly hear this. Just then, Satagira and Hemavata, together with their retinues, were traveling in the sky on different vehicles, thinking to pay homage to the blessed one in Jeta's grove, and then go to the gathering of the Yakhas. The route for the Yakhas is not everywhere in the sky, but only along certain defined tracks that avoid their palaces situated in the sky. But Alavaka's palace was situated on the ground, well guarded, surrounded by ramparts, with a well constructed door, watchtower, and gate, and covered above by a bronze net similar to a casket, and it was 3 yojanas in height. Above it there was a path. Having come to that region, they, Satagira and Hemavata, were unable to go further, for even up to the peak of existence, no one can travel above an area where a Buddha is sitting. Wondering what is the reason for this, they saw the blessed one, having descended from the sky as if they were clouds of earth. They paid homage to the blessed one, listened to the Dhamma, and circumambulated him, and told him, We are going to a gathering of Yakha's blessed one. Then, praising the 3 jewels, they left for the gathering. When Alavaka saw them, he stepped back and offered them seats. They informed Alavaka, How fortunate you are, Alavaka, that the blessed one is dwelling on your abode. Go, friend, and attend upon the blessed one. Thus the blessed one was dwelling in the abode itself, not at the foot of the banyan tree where Alavaka's abode was located. Hence, it is said, on one occasion the blessed one was dwelling at Alavi in the abode of the Yakha Alavaka. Then the Yakha Alavaka approached the blessed one and said to him, Get out, ascetic. All right, fled. The blessed one said, and he went out. Come in, ascetic. The blessed one said, All right, Fred, and he went in. A second time, a third time. He then said, I will ask you a question, ascetic, and so forth. I do not see anyone in this world. friend with its devas and Mara with Brahma, in this population with ascetics and Brahmins, it's devas and humans, but ask whatever you want, friend. So, such is the background of this sutta and the conversation just we read that happened. And after that, the Alavaka became the follower of the Buddha. That's what we have read in the sutta. Thus, having shown with this verse of his achievement of his own welfare now, showing his practice for the welfare for others, he says, now I will travel about. The Yakha says that I will travel from village to village and town to town by listening to spread your Dhamma. The meaning of this should be understood in the way stated in relation to the discourse with the Hemavata. So in Hemavata and Satagira Sutta, last sutta we heard, the Satagira and Hemavata Sutta, that how Yakhas were spreading the Dhamma from village to village. The conclusion of this was the approach of the dawn, the sound of applause, and the bringing of the Alavaka prince to the Yakha's abode will all occur simultaneously. So at the end of the discourse, the king brought the Alavaka prince to the Yakha's abode. The king's men, having heard the sound of applause, wondered. Such applause does not respond for anyone other than the Buddhas. Could it be that a blessed one has come? They then saw the blessed one's bodily aura. Unlike in the past, they did not stand outside but entered without fear and saw the blessed one sitting in the Yakha's abode, with the Yakha standing there reverently saluting him. Having seen this, they said to the Yakha, great Yakha, this is the prince brought to you as an offering. Come now, eat him or do with him as you wish. Since the Yakha was now a stream enterer, he felt ashamed, especially as this was being said in the presence of the Blessed One. Then he took the prince with both hands and presented him to the Blessed One, saying, Bhante, this prince was sent for me, but I give him to the Blessed One. The Buddhas are compassionate. So let the Blessed One accept this boy for his welfare and happiness. Then he recited this verse. This prince has 100 marks of merit. His limbs are complete, his features are full, elated in mind and joyful. I give him to you. Let the one with vision accept him for the world's welfare. The blessed one accepted the prince. While accepting him as a blessing for the Yakha and the prince, he spoke a verse with one line missing. The Yakha then filled in the fourth line 3 times, causing the prince to go for refuge, as follows. May this prince have a long life, and O Yakha, may you be happy. Dwell without affliction for the welfare of the world. The prince goes for refuge to the Buddha, to the Dhamma, and the Sangha. The blessed one then gave the prince back to the king's men, instructing them, bring him up and then give him to me again. In this way, the prince passed from the hands of the king's men into the Yakha's hands, and from the Yakha's hands into the blessed one's hands, and from the blessed one's hands again to the hands of the king's men. For this reason, he come to be called Hathaka Alavaka. The prince was called Hathaka Alavaka because from one hand to other hand he was passed on. When the farmers, woodsmen, and other citizens saw that the king's men had returned with the boy, they were frightened and asked, could it be that the Yakha did not want the prince because he is too young? The king's men replied, do not be afraid. The blessed one has ensured our security. And they informed them of everything. Then the entire city of Abi was in an uproar, exclaiming in the direction of the Yakha, excellent, excellent. When the time for the blessed one to walk for the arms arrived, the Yakha took his bowel and robe, accompanied him halfway, and then returned. When the blessed one had wandered in for alms in the city of Alvi and completed his meal, he sat down in the excellent seat that he prepared for himself at the foot of a secluded tree by the city gate. Thereupon the king and citizens, together with a multitude of people, assembled and approached the blessed one. Having paid homage to him, they sat down around him and asked, Bhante, how did you tame such a terrible yakha? The blessed one then related to them the discourse to Alavaka, beginning with the battle. He sent these 9 kinds of storms against me. He created such and such frightful apparitions. He asked me such and such questions, and I answered him in such a way. At the conclusion of the talk, 84,000 people made the breakthrough to the Dhamma. Thereupon the king and the citizens made an abode for the Yakha near the abode of the great king Vesavana and initiated a perennial offering accompanied by such tributes as flowers and incense. And when the prince reached maturity, they sent him to the Blessed One, telling him, "You owe your life to the Blessed One. Go attend upon the Blessed One and the Sangha of Bhikkhus." As he was attending on the Blessed One and the Sangha of Bhikkhus, in no long time he was established in the fruit of a non-returner. He learned the entire world of the Buddha and acquired a retinue of 500 lay followers. The Blessed One named him one of the foremost disciples. Thus, this bhikkhu is the foremost among my male disciples who sustain a retinue with the 4 means of attracting and sustaining a retinue, namely Hathaka of Alvi. So, this was some part of commentary I read. The commentary is very big, uh, 10 to 15 pages, or maybe more. So, this is the Alavaka Sutta from Sutta Nipata, mainly where it is mentioned that how to cross the flood, how to cross this shore of samsara by saddha, by truthfulness, by meditation. You can cross the flood of the samsara. So, if anybody has questions, he can ask. Namaste, Sachin ji.
Sir, namaste, sir. Sir, we thank you for reading it, sir. It's very good sutta with Alavaka. It's very good. Like they are asking question and what is the exact answer for it. Just I want to ask why Alavaka demon was saying the Buddha get in, get out. Like what was the incident, sir? Actually,
I think he was cruel in nature. It was just by nature. He was disturbed in his mind, and he was having a negative mindset, and he wanted to prove his authority over the Buddha. That's why he was saying like that.
fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you. There are
Yeah.
two words which are really required to be known from our practice. That is,
Yeah.
how do we get wisdom, panya.
Yeah.
And second word is pajanati. These two words are
Yeah.
required to be told more instead of commentaries. The commentaries are full of history.
Yeah.
Continue, please.
See, the wisdom means panya. What is panya? Panya means we should know that whatever is impermanent is impermanent. Whatever is not beautiful is not beautiful. Whatever is not me is not me, and whatever is dukkha is dukkha. That we should know by panya. So when we practice our any type of meditation, whether it is vipassana or samat vipassana, even when we practice our 6 hours or 4 hours, when we get tension here and we release the tension is because we consider it as me, mine, or myself. And when we go there and we understand that it is not me, mine, it's not me, not mine, not myself, that becomes panya. So that is the panya actually, the relaxed state. It helps you to take things impersonally. So most important thing is taking things impersonally, because if you see the Indian spiritual world, The teaching of anicca is everywhere. The teaching of dukkha is everywhere. The teaching of anatta is not there to the highest point where Buddha laid it. Okay, the teaching of anatta is there for all other things, but something is considered permanent, and that is considered I in all other traditions. But Buddha's uniqueness is that Buddha said that everything is not I. Whatever we experience is not me, not mine, not myself. So that is the real panya. And when the word is coming in pajanati, so you know with the panya, you know with the impersonal nature of the thing. That is called pajanati. Janati, pajanati, sampajanati. Sampajanati means comprehensively you know that this is anicca, this is dukkha, this is anatta. So that panya is there. So these three words are there in Pali. Janati, that is simply knowing. Pajanati, you are knowing with wisdom. And sampajanati is you are knowing with the comprehensive wisdom. So these are the meanings.
In our practical world, whatever supports we have, like knowledge of this particular samadhi, 6 hours, and other things, till such time you get the wisdom, that is panya. We are having conventional way of supporting supports. When the supports are missing, desires are missing, and slowly you will improve with panya. That panya, without any acceptance, without any our expectation, it will naturally lead you, that is progress you in the path. Till such time, we have the problem of referring to why it is not coming, why it is not moving, like that, something you are expecting with the help of your knowledge, earlier knowledge. And when it goes in natural way of doing things according to our twin practice, then you won't have any expectation, and the natural way it will go, that is pajanati. So that at that particular juncture, you will not have any desires or sensual desires, including sensual or anything, or your supports of knowledge which read and which you spoke to me and gave me some knowledge, that will never be there in the mind or body. Your jhana particularly. And next, first beginning we will have the six hours, that is 8-fold path, and precepts will lead to the samadhi or jhanas. That jhana, in those jhanas only the wisdom will crop up. That wisdom will make you to go natural way of doing further. This is what the experiential way we can spell out with our people.
Yeah, good, correct. Good explanation. Thank you. Thank you, Sharmaji.
Sir, just I want to add, like whatever the experiences which we had, like Bante says that wisdom is nothing but seeing the links of dependent origination.
Yeah, correct.
Yes, sir.
Correct. Apart from the three characteristics, Bante also mentions that somebody who sees the three characteristics of anicca, dukkha, anatta does not necessarily see the links of dependent origination. But somebody who sees the links of dependent origination, he naturally sees the three characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta. That's what Bante has said.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any other question or comment anybody wants to say? Okay. Sachin, do you want to read the sharing of merits?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can share.
Sir. Oh, you will share, sir. Yes, sir. Shall I share, sir?
Yeah.
I will share, sir. 1 minute, sir. Yes, sir. I'm sharing.
Yeah.
Be suffering once, be suffering
Be
free,
suffering free.
and the fear struck
The
fearless be.
fearless be.
May the grieving shed all
Shed
grief,
all grief.
find relief.
And may
May
all
all
beings find
beings
relief.
see this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds
Of all
of
kinds of
happiness.
happiness.
Beings inhabiting space and earth,
Space and earth.
vast and vast
Waves
of
and
mighty
Akas
power,
of mighty
share
power.
this merit
Share
of
in
us.
this spirit of
May
ours.
the Lord
May
protect
the
the
Lord
Buddha's
protect the
dispensation.
this message. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you all for joining. Thanks
Sir, thank
everybody.
you.
Thanks
Thanking you
Gopi.
all, sir.
Okay, thank you Archana ji. Thank you Sharma ji. Thank you Sachin.